what's this? So in the contributor success toolbox, we've got a couple of different achievement scripts that we've used at various points. So now I'm trying to figure out what this one was. I wonder if this was MVP. Possibly. So when we created the concept of achievements and then created the MVP achievement, I configured something or just saved something in the handbook, I guess, on how to award that each month. But we wanted to try and retrospectively award it to all the previous MVPs. So I just threw together a dirty Ruby script to kind of basically execute a GraphQL mutation lots of times. So we've kind of got that in the bag. And then we've got team member achievements, which I think basically grabs a YAML. It also runs a query to get all of the current achievements or user achievements, if that makes sense. And it basically compares, it's like, here's a list of people that have been awarded team member. Here's a list of people that should be team members. Let's smush them together as a Venn diagram, figure out which ones have got it and shouldn't have that we need to take away, and which ones haven't got it but should have. And then finally, we've got the contributor achievements, which is the one that...
What happens if we award the same achievement to somebody multiple times? Do we need to worry about determining whether they already have it or not?
We don't. And actually, one of my first questions, I'll open up. Actually, no, I use this one that I've already got loads of scribbles in. Do we want to award multiple trees on a basis? So I'm guessing Marco or Nicholas or someone will be a good candidate. There you go. He said MVP twice. So yeah, you can do that. That's a thing. At some point in the future, we might want to have them configurable, so there can be achievements that sort of say this is something that you shouldn't be able to award multiple times. But at the moment, eat your heart out, essentially. So then, yeah, the last one we've got the contributor achievements is so from date and to date, what they default into. I thought that would be in there. There you go. So a couple of days. So this is probably running a couple of times a day, and then I've given it a bit of a buffer in case it fails a few times. But it's looping over a couple of groups, pulling all of the merge requests with a community contribution label on merged after that date. And then what we're actually doing is getting the total count. I wish I could explain this a bit better. So the kind of trigger almost is that somebody's had a new merge request. But what we then want to do is figure out, well, how many merge requests have they now got in total? So we then have a bit of slightly ugly nesting in the GraphQL that basically says, what's the total count of merge requests in the GitLab org group, the GitLab com group, and the GitLab community group? And again, yeah, we just do a bit of calculation. This one we do some revoking as well, because if you go from a contributor level 1 to level 2, then we revoke the level 1 badge and put the level 2 on there. So we've got plenty of Ruby scripts that do something along those kind of lines. But yeah, this was definitely one of my questions. So in my head, I don't know. Yeah, again, this might be a reason. I don't know whether I should show it because we don't want to share it. Let me just talk about it in case we do want to publish this, and I don't want to see the list. But in our project, the issues that get created. Maybe you've got one actually, Marco. If you've got or Patrick or Nicholas, any
Yeah,
of you,
I've got one.
if
Let
you've got one
me.
and you don't mind us sharing it, again, considering if it's got a swag coupon in it, if that swag coupon's already been redeemed or not, but feel free to ping it to me on Slack or on Zoom or whatever, and I can open that one up.
Who
But
authors those? Do you remember? Because I can find it in my to-do list.
so there would probably be like a bot, a group access
Some sort of
token.
a bot user,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it'll probably be contributor success rewards would be what I would search for. Yeah, that should help. So
There it is.
awesome.
I will send it to you here.
Thank you very much.
Oh, this was, I think, before it had the tree emoji.
So the emojis
I have
not.
one with a tree if you would like.
So you feel free to share that as well, but the tree emoji is still just me at the moment. I'm just
Okay.
getting excited be that you've opted for trees. That we've got a bit more work to do to properly, I don't know what the word is, like
Okay.
magic that.
This one was just, I think, for the hackathon from December. So it is a tree award.
Cool. So, but what we have got, whilst we haven't, so you're sort of saying about the emojis, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
just you can see my most
Yep.
popular
Yep.
emojis. I'll often give you maybe a green heart for a tree and a thank you or whatever, but it varies. The one that should be consistent is the label. So at the moment, I think we're kind of defaulting to swag. But I suspect we'll flip that, to be honest, pretty imminently, so that we default to the reward being the tree. And what I mean by that is, if I think we give like a month or so for people to respond after the hackathon or after a certain event to sort of say like, oh, would you prefer swag or a tree? If we don't hear back after that period, then we would just close the issue out and use the default. Previously, that was swag, but I think, yeah, it will probably make sense to switch it to a tree soon. So I think we can quite easily find all of the closed issues in this project that have the tree reward tree label on them. And again, my instinct would be not to try and be clever and build a webhook and find a way to consume that webhook, etc., but to run a scheduled pipeline that queries the project for issues that were closed in the last couple of days, find the ones that have got the tree reward label and issue accordingly. Which brings us round to your question, essentially.
Right.
Do we want to award multiple trees? And is it like one tree per issue, or is it, is there any different logic? Like, should you get a bigger whatever if you win MVP, which is kind of $75, like a tier 3 tree contribution versus like we plant like one tree for a lot of people to, when we send them, I don't know what you call it, like almost a reactivation campaign to sort of say, hey, we haven't seen you in a while, like here's a tree, how you doing? So yeah, I guess I'm interested to know what your sort of thinking is on that.
I think from an MVP perspective, we just start with one tree achievement if they've done a tree.
Yep. So if they've already got the achievement, we just leave it as is, essentially.
We just leave it, yeah. Or we could award it for each issue that had closed and then not worry about the level of the issue. So like a tier 1 swag would be the same as a tier 3 swag if you opted for trees, sort of thing. Because that way, if you had done a bunch of trees over a long period of time, you'd get like 3 to 5 to 7 of the tree achievements, and eventually Marco has a forest.
Marco, any thoughts?
I mm, I agree with only awarding the achievement once, but at least for now. But wouldn't that be, as an MVP, it would be easier to just award the achievement as many times as we have, because otherwise we would also need to check whether the achievement was already granted or not.
Yes and no. The problem comes if we wanted to do, there's a couple of things that if we wanted to do, if we wanted to say award the achievement once for every issue when they opted for trees, then all of a sudden I have to try and do something clever. Like I think you caught what I said earlier about having like an overlap. So if this runs every 6 hours or every 12 hours and it checks all issues closed in the last few days, then it will pick up the same issue 3 or 4 times. And I need to then figure out a way of saying, oh, like, did we already issue the tree for this one, or was it a different one that we issued?
You can use a label on the issue for that, can't you? Like bot action.
Yeah.
That's how I've always done that in the past to prevent that overlap. And I think GitLab already does that in a bunch of places with the GitLab bot itself too.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, there you have a forest, or there you have a forest of labels instead of trees.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but what I would probably look to do, so what we can, similar to the contributor achievements query, where we say, right, for a group, instead of merge requests, obviously we'd be asking for issues with a certain label closed after a certain date. But then we would get the nodes, we would get the ID, I guess, so that we can add that label if we want to do it. We would need the author so we can award them the achievement, but then we can actually drill in and do, I guess, like user achievements, nodes. Then I think we might even be able, we can filter achievements, but I'm not sure if we can filter user achievement. Maybe not.
I'm looking up the GraphQL. One sec.
1 step ahead of me.
Hopefully somebody has that memorized better than I do.
I think we can filter achievements, but not user achievements. And my thinking is that if we use the label approach, we don't need to do this. And I kind of like the idea of getting a tree per issue, because yes, I know, like, we'll build them up. Like, Mark, I wouldn't be surprised if you have already had like 4 or 5. Nicholas, probably same with you. But you know, it's, what is it, 4 hackathons a year, and then a maximum of like 1 MVP a year, and then maybe a few other token ones. I don't think it's going to be crazy, and they stack at the end of the day, right? So it's not gonna.
Right, it doesn't create a UX issue.
I don't think so. I guess it does clutter if we're doing, if anyone's doing a sort of GraphQL query for user achievements. Pagination, you get 100 achievements. That's quite a big page size, but yeah, so.
Yeah, I checked. I have 3 issues with trees and 1 before trees were an option.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to. Is anyone leaning strongly in either direction, or?
I like the idea that you can increase your counter of the achievement.
I would say that I like that the most too, because it kind of gives people, if they are motivated by achievements, it gives them an incentive to participate in the next hackathon and stuff too.
Awesome. Yeah, love it. Cool. And it's interesting actually because I mean, arguably, I wonder if we should have or still should in the future just have a hackathon participant achievement potentially. This kind of trumps or foregoes that in a way, but I guess not exactly because not everyone opts for trees. But you could sort of argue that you know everyone that participates will get the hackathon achievement, and then those that do the trees will then get the tree one as well. But either way, so it feels like we've got a bit of a plan. The
I
just figure this. Go on.
I don't know if you can filter based on authors on issues in GraphQL. It doesn't look like that's a
What would you need to only get community members? Is that what you're thinking, or
But why the author?
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Wouldn't
Oh,
would it be enough to filter by assignee and not by author?
well, what I was trying to, because we want to find for a group all issues after a certain day that were,
so it's a little bit easier than that because we've got a single project that houses these issues.
oh, okay.
And I even think like that's the first time I've asked that I just kind of said, oh, do we only want to do community members? I think the answer to that is no. I think that if team members get awarded something for whatever and they opt for trees, then I think they should get the achievement as well. So I think basically every issue in this project, regardless of the author, regardless of the assignee, regardless of pretty much anything other than the label swag reward tree. And so we're looking for, it does have that label and it does not have whatever we decide to be like achievement awarded or something like that. So does anyone want to drive? Should we start by trying to write some GraphQL? How would you like to?
I'm trying to figure out the GraphQL right now, actually.
Is your screen safe enough to share? Or?
I think so. I just need the project path for
Okay.
for the contributor
So,
success project, which I suppose I can get just by opening up that link I sent you.
yeah, absolutely. So the only thing I'd say, it doesn't huge. Does it matter? Does it matter? Does it matter? No, it probably doesn't. Yeah, I think it'd be fine if you were to share like the list of issue IDs and assignees, or do you know what I mean? Like, I think the only thing we don't want is the actual content that might have like the swag codes and other stuff. But other than that, I don't think it matters if we.
I'm trying to remember what the time format is for created after as well.
So my normal approach is, I think with any system, any API, anything is yeah. There was supposed to be 4 there. Yeah. Hyphen, month, hyphen. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But do I have the right full path here?
You are missing the slash rewards at the end. You only have the group.
Thank you. Okay, and the trick here is I don't have access to most of the issues here, so the data is going to be gibberish.
You
actually do have.
Yeah, I think so. Unless you're using a different, like a work account, or I think you use the same one.
I think I use the same one. Yeah.
So it suggests we've got a little
Okay.
glitch in the GraphQL,
Yep. Unless there aren't any that are created after that time frame.
which is also very possible. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's just go back a month.
Ago,
Just
yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good.
yeah, there we go.
Awesome. Awesome.
And we probably want the assignee, not the author, huh?
Sounds good. Yeah.
And that's a node because
Oh, I hope we're not going to exceed the maximum nesting here. I don't think we will.
No.
there we go.
There's one
So-
with
So-
Chinese.
With
What's
what?
that, sorry?
Oh, yeah, there is. There's one without assignee.
Oh yeah.
I think when someone
that-
actioned, like responded to the issue, they unassigned
No, they
themselves.
unassigned themselves.
Oh,
So
got
so
it.
that was a team member that just unassigned themselves from
Yeah.
the issue.
Is that going
Um,
to cause a problem with this?
It will, but I think that for the occasional, do
It's
you know what I mean?
probably okay.
It's not something
yeah.
I'm going to stress about. Yeah.
You
Should
could
we see
Yeah.
if we can filter the labels?
Sure.
To just get that. And can you get count back? Is count available under issues?
Will.
yes.
You actually use this giant documentation
I,
page.
honestly, this is where I start, but yeah.
Have you used the built-in sort of the documentation in GraphQL Explorer itself?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just not amazingly good at it because it should be just count, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So all I'm looking to see is that this goes
Yep.
down from whatever it
39.
is now to yeah,
And
whatever
then
it
we
is.
want to filter based on labels as well, right?
Yeah.
And let's see here. I guess we could just go
Wait for the autocomplete to do its magic.
label name, and then that's a slice of strings. So what label do we want to filter?
Slice of strings.
Yeah, you can tell the Golang programmer, right?
I mean, in case it's not immediately clear by the fact that my my current work Git pod is on a Go file right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think it's reward hyphen not hyphen reward
Yeah,
colon. Yeah, tree.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Down to 24.
Awesome.
There we go.
So is there a closed after rather than a created after?
Yes, there is.
Awesome. Because I was specifically looking, especially if we start defaulting it to tree, then we only
Yep.
want it to pick up once it's closed. And
Okay.
is there a not label name or label name not or?
Yep.
Ooh.
I don't think so.
No huge drama. Because we'll just bring back the labels and we'll just check in Ruby, but
There should be a way because the issues list does the same for the filter bar.
oh, and it uses GraphQL to.
Yeah, the issue list is in view and uses GraphQL.
Well, let's actually execute that then and see what our network sends
Hey,
back.
Old fox.
That's right. You guys get to see all sorts of stuff about my workflow. I'm not sure how I feel about this. And what is the label we're looking for? Oh, that's not the right.
so it doesn't exist yet.
Okay, so let's just pick a random one here just so that we see
Yeah,
what
sounds
GraphQL
good.
gets sent.
I think there's just a not option inside as a parameter where you have all options again.
Get issues EE. Oh, that's just the name of the query, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Hide users. So it's just all the parameters. There's gotta be a better way to format this.
Maybe with Prettify next to the run button.
Oh, sure. But then I'd have to pass in all the parameters, but
Oh, it doesn't
wishful
format.
thinking, right?
maybe
It's
if we
too-
get rid of the first one.
No, it's too
There
ugly.
we go.
Hey!
Okay, I'm very
You-
glad that we prettified that instead of just scroll through
I'm,
it.
I'm very glad that we've got Nicholas on the call.
Yep.
Sort state in.
Yeah, and you have a not parameter in the issues parameters. And there you can pass also like an object with labels or so, which should be excluded.
Okay. I'm not sure that I know how to write that. Do one of you guys want to take over and give that a whirl?
Uh,
Or someone can help walk me through it here.
yeah,
Going back to the issue page with the example, you should have the not variable populated, and you basically could copy and paste.
Oh, good call.
And also
Variable
GraphQL should
is
give you like live completion.
autocomplete.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay, cool. Oh, so
Well,
it's like an object or
give
hash
it a
or
whirl.
nested,
Yeah,
whatever you
it's an
want.
object. So if
So this
you
should
just
be
put a not,
not, and then like that. And it
yeah,
should be, I think it was
inside.
label name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
And then this would be, again, let's see if there's just something that we can filter on here.
I mean, now's as good a time as any for me to create this label. What do we think?
Sure.
I don't know if achievement awarded is a bit too vague, because if we
Maybe
end up
just-
using achievements for MVP and for, well, we already are, but you know what I mean?
Maybe like this, tree : awarded.
Yeah, that could work. But then,
Otherwise, tree
That-
achievement.
yeah, I'm thinking tree awarded, like
Or achievement, tree awarded.
Tree
yeah.
planted.
Tree planted?
No,
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Oh,
because
that-
we've got
that,
achievement on the left. It's not an indication. That's my worry about that. It's sort of like this
Yeah,
almost
maybe
sounds like
maybe like flip achievement and tree, like tree achievement awarded.
Sure. Like that.
Yeah, maybe all hyphenated without the column, so it's
yeah, just keep it simple. Yeah, we've awarded the tree achievement. Tree achievement awarded. Yeah, awesome.
Let me grab for one of these issues an ID.
Yeah,
as
and
well, because
I'll
then we
maybe
can add it to one of them and make sure that
I was
the
going to
node count
say
goes down.
exactly that. I'll create this label quickly, and
Oh,
then
geez.
you can tell me one to award it to in a minute, and yeah,
Mm.
away we go.
probably it's better to get the instance ID, otherwise it's going to be huge.
Oh, sure.
Tree achievement.
How
by ID.
IID. Yep. There we go.
Much better.
Yeah, much easier to consume.
Have we got one that's any of you free at all, or let's do it to Timo,
yeah,
shall we?
Yeah, I was gonna say we could do Tebow. He won't care.
Oh, it was him that
Or you-
planted this seed, right? No pun intended.
Right.
407. Timo.
He's not even back until Monday, so he won't notice.
Tree achievement awarded.
We can remove the award.
That's right.
Okay, so I've added the label, so the count should go down.
And so it does.
Beautiful.
Yay!
Beautiful. Good start. Okay. So
No,
You can't do hyphenated.
no, please.
There we go. Okay. Do we need
Um,
any more information about any of the assignees or anything?
I don't
Because
think
we've got the
so.
issue ID, which we'll need to call the API to assign the label. We've got the username, which we need to call to assign the achievement. I think that's all we need, right?
Yeah.
Good question. Let me just think. So we already know because the projects. I'm trying to think with GraphQL. With GraphQL,
Do you want me to
if we're
pop
gonna,
open one of these scripts to look at it? To look at one of the existing ones?
well, I don't think any of them are updating an issue. I'm trying to think.
I think you'll
Will
want to
we
use the
use?
REST
That's
instead of.
exactly what I was thinking. Like, so if we want to use the REST API, we know the project ID because it's hard coded, and you've returned the issue IID, which is perfect. If we were using GraphQL, then we would want the global ID. So it would be a little bit different, but
Yeah,
What am I
we
doing?
need the global ID for the awarding the achievement.
the global ID
It
for
does
the
not work
user.
of usernames.
Good
Okay.
point. We need the global ID of the user, but not of the issue. Yeah.
Okay, easy enough to add that.
Awesome.
And
I wonder whether, I mean, should we, seeing as we can push the work to the server, should we do assignee any if we can do that, which I'm sure we can?
to
I guess
get
we'd have
a
to do that
distinct
in,
list.
no, sorry, in the issue parameters, if we say assignee any, it will
Oh,
only give us issues with an assignee, even though I'm surprised to sort of see that there's
is any a
Cool.
keyword
I
or?
thought there was a way to. Can you just see if there's any different assignee usernames? Can you bring the docs up on the right hand side? Will that? If you use that little, see if it's helpful. The context menu.
I'm trying to bring it up. It's not bringing anything up.
There we go. So just search a schema for don't know. Would it be issues? I never
This
quite
would
know how.
be probably.
Yeah, because we're.
Yeah, because we're in issues.
I think project.issue is probably in there somewhere.
We can pass assignee wildcard ID as a parameter with using the value any.
Perfect. Thank you.
Ah, there we go. Okay, because that
just
gets rid
drops
of
that
the
one off.
Yeah.
I think if we maybe in the Ruby we could put a little protection that says if we find more than one assignee, then to bail out. But you know, if I think being able to push no assignees to do that in the server side makes our life a little bit easier. Ruby side. Cool. Awesome. Have you got a sort of Ruby environment? Can you clone the project and hack around? Do you want to? Is another question.
Well, I don't know Ruby, so I'm probably not the best person to drive.
Okay.
But I can throw the GraphQL here in Zoom for us. I do
Sounds good.
have an environment up, but I have never worked on this project before, so.
It's, I mean, yeah, well, I want to say I've been good. I don't know with some of these scripts, maybe not. But the biggest challenge is that I guess we'll need to be using like access, like API keys and tokens and stuff to be updating things. But see, this one's got a dry run parameter, so hopefully we can do something where it can be anonymous to grab the information that it needs, and then it can just print stuff to the screen to say this is what I want to do, sort of thing.
Sure.
Does anyone particularly fancy driving for the Ruby bit, or?
Feel free to do it. I'm still bustling with margins.
Okay, I'm happy to. I'm slightly more worried that I've got random stuff on my screen, but I'm sure it's fine.
I'm happy to drive as long as you guys are comfortable sort of walking me through it. If you
go,
prefer.
give it a bash. I don't
Okay.
know whether to start. Start with nothing or
Presumably we want it, yeah. I assume we want it as a new script.
yeah, you might want to just copy the contributor achievements, or yeah, probably that, because it's got HTTP party in it. It's like we'll probably delete most of the body, but we'll probably keep like at least one of the includes or whatever it's called.
Singular, okay. All right.
So we'll want Prior probably to do some debugging. We'll want HTTP party, although I think it's included as part of the GraphQL helper import. I don't think we want the GitLab username bot identifier on line 4. And yeah, what better place to start than writing a little comment, I guess, as to what the purpose of this is.
Was it swag tree or tree swag? Reward tree.
Reward tree, I think.
And to be fully correct, double colon, not a single one, because we are using scope labels.
Scope labels, yeah. And then the new label, which is that one. Oh, Firefox.
Oh yeah, you're in Gitpod. I was thinking, why? I've never seen a loading spinner in VS Code before.
Yeah, let me open it in my local VS Code so that hotkeys work a little bit cleaner.
Okay.
Otherwise, you could see it doesn't like me copying and pasting because Firefox doesn't let it have access to my clipboard.
Top secret clipboard. Gotcha.
My very top secret clipboard. Give it a second. I have to switch screens I'm sharing.
Give me this for a few seconds.
What's that?
Just responding to a message. I'm going to be even more spaced out than I normally am for a few seconds.
No, thank you. I don't need to update local VS Code right now. I almost never actually open VS Code because I always use it in my browser.
Got a random question that we could all put our heads together quick to actually to have a think about. So recently, the engineering productivity team introduced a new danger. I don't know what they call them, danger thingamabob. When you, I guess, when you push a commit to an MR, when a pipeline runs on a merge request, essentially in a GitLab project, it's actually going to check the status of the master pipeline. And if the master pipeline is broken, then it's actually going to warn you that your pipeline might be broken because the master pipeline's broken. Now I sort of raised the fact that I was like, is this going to work for community contributors because they're on a fork? And
I'm pretty sure it won't, because it's actually a try job thing if I have seen this correct, so it won't listen to the pipeline events of the fork.
It's what was, sorry, I missed a bit of that, Nicholas. What was the reason?
If I am correct, it's implemented in triage ops, so it's not running as part of the pipeline, but it's operating from the webhook events.
I think it's pipeline because it's a danger. I don't know what you call it. Danger runs, a danger job on all pipelines, and then I think there's a whole load of I don't know what they call them, like cops, if you know what I mean, like danger rules or I think it's danger a whole bunch of things that run. But yeah, I think.
Okay, maybe it's also only the one thing that updates the master status to something where.
Yeah, it might be more that. But what I don't think it's going to explode, but it might get confused because it might think, obviously, when you're on a fork and you haven't got access to the canonical project, it doesn't run a merge result pipeline. And EP team were asking if we know how you can tell from a merge request. I guess it's not the merge request even, it's from the pipeline, whether the pipeline is a merge result pipeline.
I think there's a predefined variable.
Oh, that would be helpful. Sorry for off-railing us a second.
Yeah, there is a CI merge request event type, which can be detached, merged result, or merged train.
Thank you very much. Awesome. Right. Sorry. Back to focus. Meanwhile, Patrick's done it. Yeah.
We need to. Do we need to paginate through the issues potentially? I think we probably do.
I don't know. I think that if this is running, if we get a day where more than 100 issues are closed,
I suppose it'll just pick it up on the next day, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, good point, because it's adding the label and yeah,
right.
It'll keep picking them up if So
right. So as long as there's enough of a look back window, it shouldn't be a problem.
And if you close more than 200 issues in 2 days, it's, I mean,
you have a different good problem. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Because let's see here. I was going to. This is where we update our. This is where we actually get our merger or GraphQL string. And okay, it actually executes the GraphQL. So we need to put our query in here. And then this needs to be our after date, and I lost the syntax for that, which is just a pound. That makes sense.
I think that's the only argument you're going to need in this.
I think so too.
Method
yeah.
As well. And I don't know if I'm doing some weird thing where I'm retrying and that. I think I'd probably get rid of that. Maybe we'll check if the response has errors, and if it does, we'll print it. So if you remove line 86 and remove the try less than 5. Beautiful. And then maybe the arguments from the method, albeit that
Yeah.
I realize we're sort of tidying up as we go, so there's no
Yeah,
immediate.
it's okay.
Awesome.
We probably don't need that anymore because I would assume with the shrinking of the query, our method length is probably
I
reasonable.
imagine so, yeah.
So this is
Oh, the to-do page is looking perfect now.
Nice, nice. I hope we're inspiring you.
okay. So we do not need to loop over multiple groups at this point, right? Because we've got literally just the one project. So we can simplify this method. But we need to get because we'll get the results back from that. And how are we getting the date from this? Where's after? After is defined as nil, but we want it to be relative from today, which is right here. So we're doing, there's a lot of magic numbers in there. Is .9 or is date.now minus 2, is that 2 days from today?
Yes, 2
Okay.
days ago.
Okay.
And then the 9, I guess, is 4 characters for the year, 1 character for the dash, 2 characters for the month, 1 for the
Yeah.
dash.
So it's getting that the first ISO, the standard date out of it.
Pretty much. There's possibly a nicer way of doing it, but
Whatever. Do we want to do more than 2 days, or is 2 days good? Because again, we'll have the label to kind of catch it, so it's not a big deal.
Well, yeah, maybe we don't need a date filter on there.
Oh, I didn't even consider that. Well, what happens in the GraphQL? Let me run that real quick if we just get rid of that.
So that way we clear up.
That's true because there's 207 issues out there, but that would retroactively fix all
It
of
means
the
we don't
ones.
have to do a
We don't have to
mop-up
do a
because it will
backfill.
be done. Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Love it when a plan comes together. Hey?
Yeah, let's pretend like we did that on purpose.
So fun in Ruby, you don't need to have the parens on the method definition
Oh,
if
really?
it doesn't have any.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's weird for me
Not-
as well.
Not
And
sure
you can
how
put
I
feel.
think
question marks.
Rubocop will also yell at you if you have empty parentheses.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can put question marks and exclamation point marks at the end of the method.
Oh, excellent. Well, we'll just put a bunch of those then.
I don't know, is it actually valid syntax, that one?
Let's not go there yet. But feel free to ask Duo Marco for us and see what Duo has to say.
Okay, so do we need the paren then to invoke the function?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. So then we get the results from that. And then what does dig do? Is that just unwinding the various nested objects?
Yeah, pretty much. It's a null safe way to dig into a deeply nested hash or object or whatever you want to call it.
So
Yes.
in this particular case, we would want to say issue or authors probably. Do we want authors or do we want issues? Because we probably want the issues node because the issue node gives us the IID, and then nested inside the issues node is the assignees node that gives us the ID for the achievement. So probably issues node.
I'm not convinced. the answer is no. Test is not a valid method name in Ruby. Method names in Ruby must start with a lowercase letter or underscore and can only contain alphanumeric characters or underscore. Exclamation points are not valid in Ruby method names.
Well, that's wrong, isn't it?
That's wrong.
Interesting. Can you tell Duo you're wrong?
You sure?
I'm just gonna get myself a refill. I'll be right back.
Yeah, exclamation points are valid, but only once, so not multiple.
So now I'm gonna ask with only one question.
Huh. If you put an exclamation mark somewhere in the middle of the method name, it just cuts off the method name, but doesn't throw syntax error?
What?
What plugin do you
Oh,
guys use for Clojure?
Oh, then after the exclamation mark, everything that after that is getting passed as
Argument?
the first argument name, because you can skip the parentheses.
Without the parentheses? Oh.
Yes, even if there's no space separating them, if you have an exclamation mark, it just cuts over to the arguments.
And that's Ruby.
Yep.
Yep. There we go. I took the opportunity to actually get a Ruby plugin installed here, which will be helpful. All right, so let's see here. We've got our issues. Then, if for printing, printing to the log, do you just use print? I see that in a couple spots here.
Puts is probably better because it automatically adds
Okay.
new lines basically. Whereas if you use print, it doesn't. I only use print really if I like, because this is the previous thing that you were replacing was doing a lot of pagination. So we just did a dot for each one and we wanted it to kind of remain on the same line. So.
Got it. I just wanted to print out how many issues we found so that we could make sure it was going down with each run.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, so then our next step here is presumably we want to award the achievement and then add the label to the issue. So that way, if we fail to award the achievement, we don't forget to re-award it in the future. So first step here is awarding the achievement, which is a GraphQL mutation, right?
Yeah.
Which we already have.
Awesome.
Lucky.
Yeah. But we need the achievement ID for it.
Okay, which doesn't exist yet. So I guess I better get creating and now a sexy UI to be able to create the achievement as well. Which is something fun I've been working on. So, oh, this is
What does .freeze do on the end of an array here?
It freezes the array, so you can't make any changes to it.
Okay, so it's like a final array. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I guess this, to be honest,
we probably don't need an array here.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's one achievement. Good
just
call.
a string. And if you look at line 2, we've actually this freeze string literal basically means that all strings will be frozen by default. So it's just because it's an array that we had to freeze it.
Sure, because we don't need contributor achievements anymore, nor do we need groups here.
So,
and we don't need the from date.
Good call.
So what are we going to call this then? Are we going to be, I don't know what the word is, not smart or fancy and go for something like green fingers, or are we just going to be like, I don't know, like, I don't know, GitLab Forest contributor, or I don't know. What, anyone got any nice ideas for names?
I mean,
Tree planter.
Tree planter. Let's
God.
see what Chat GPT thinks.
That's what it says on the tin. No, you have to use Duo, Patrick. You're not allowed
Oh,
to.
okay. Okay. Let's see here.
Now I'm interested if it has a good answer to that.
I know.
Oh,
Up.
Ah.
green thumb.
Oh, green thumb. That's pretty close to what I said, right?
Tree
That's a green
hugger.
Probably shouldn't do tree hugger.
that's
That has some connotations.
cool.
Let-
That's cool.
Let's see what ChatGPT and Gemini say for the same thing, just out of curiosity. Oh. Oh, get themed. Tree branch.
It makes absolutely no sense,
It
but
makes no
it's,
sense, but
it's
it's so
themed,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, let's check out a tree. Or if we would stay inside the Git terminology, we push a tree to the forest. So a tree pusher. But it
Tree
sounds
pusher.
absolutely stupid.
Yeah, slightly disturbing potentially.
Now I asked it to elaborate with more puns from software development. None of those are good. Literally none of them are good. Branch master, committifier, merging
Fire.
merging commit with conifer.
Ah.
Bug fixer, pull requester. That doesn't even make sense since they'd be merge requester.
No, these are almost just like, yeah, weird.
Yeah. What I'm really curious about is the one here. Let me paste this into the VS Code so you guys can see it. What does that mean? It has Mandarin in it.
Where is it? Oh, there.
Is it not just like
It
control-
looks like a key combination, but with Chinese characters.
Oh,
Yes,
it is a bit
probably
more
Control
obscure.
Alt Delete, isn't it? Like the
So
old school Windows.
it is, but the Alt keyboard on a Mandarin keyboard is the same character for tree.
Wow, good
Oh.
knowledge.
So
Why do you know that?
oh, I
Control
don't.
Tree.
I don't. I had to look it up.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Control
okay.
Control Tree Delete. Interesting.
That sort of implies you're deleting a tree.
Yeah.
I would say either green thumb or tree planter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know whether like Eco Warrior or social what do we call it? We call it we call it something impact. It's not social impact, is it? It's it's like sustainability, and I'm trying to think of those kind of terms that we use. How about a nice avatar? Is that going to be any easier?
We are known to not be good at naming things.
I know we're
Well-
engineers. What's going on here?
It's it's what's there's a very famous saying that I'm disappointed to have forgotten about, like naming things is hard, writing the code is easy. So
Yeah. Forest fighter, that doesn't sound right. Green Guardian, Canopy Crusader. Sprout soldier.
I wonder how well this
Oh,
image
okay.
scales.
I like this one personally. Terraformer.
Oh,
I get why.
you're biased.
Oh, definitely. Very biased.
I think I would interpret it as meaning something very different though. Like I think if you were to award trees to people that contribute to the Terraform provider, then
That
that
would
would be the
make
perfect
sense.
achievement.
Yep. It definitely would. Carbon Crusader. Oh, never
Hmm.
mind. We've got the best one.
Oh, go on.
Tremendous Achiever.
Dear,
Ugh,
oh
I've
dear.
got branch manager.
Branch Manager. Yep.
Uh,
Sprout Scout.
Sprout. Yep. I have Sprout Soldier
that's
here as one of the
terrible.
ones that it gave me.
Leafy
Including.
Luminary.
What was it?
Leafy Luminary.
Oh, there you go. We also have in this list Photosynthesis Pioneer,
Wow.
Biosphere Builder, Eco Evolutionary.
Sapling Shepherd.
Oh, that's a good one.
What is it?
Sapling
Sapling
Shepherd.
Shepherd.
Hmm. I do like the idea of maybe using something like the word seed or something, you're sort of a small like
Arbor
yeah.
Advocate.
Using the alliteration, I guess.
Oh, I don't know what this means. Tree tender.
Um
Let's see here. Seed Sower, Urban Seeding. Nah, that's not good. Uh, Seed Soldier, Seed Spreader, Sprout Spark.
Seed sower.
Yeah. that's-
Seedling Shepherd.
I like that one the best so far.
it doesn't
Not
really. I think the shepherd thing doesn't really resonate in any way, shape, or form, if that makes sense. Because isn't a shepherd about like rearing animals and stuff?
I guess I always just assumed it as somebody who was guiding something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Seedling Steward.
Steward's quite nice in a sort of like pioneery sort of way, like I'm
Ooh.
sort of doing something and like yeah, want other people to do that. I'm yeah, kind of leading the way.
Seedling Sentinel. I'm sure of one thing. If whenever I'm going to have a kid, I'm not going to ask ChatGPT for a name.
No, you're definitely asking ChatGPT for a name.
Whether you go with it or not is another thing.
No, let's put an edge on this. You're asking ChatGPT for the name, and you're taking whatever the first thing it gives you.
Oh,
Make sure you get your prompt correct.
it's giving all the same ones now. Another Seedling Shepherd.
Yeah, I'm getting very similar responses, no matter how I prompt it at this point. Yeah.
Oh, I was just going another one, another one, another one.
Oh.
I'm gonna go with something and see how much you hate it. Now I've picked a random avatar, and now I just need a description. So
Funny that we spend more time on thinking of a name than writing
Yeah,
the
it's fun though,
UL
right?
query.
Um,
That's how it goes. I had to do a new product proposal a couple weeks ago, and I, spent months and months on building out the product proposal and everything like that, and presented it to all of the stakeholders, and their only piece of feedback was that they didn't like the name. And I'm like, you're either not paying any attention to the product proposal, or I just knocked it out of the park, and I
I
don't
think
know.
I'll go with that one. I'll go with that one. Yeah.
I'm not sure which one of these I want to go with.
About ready to give you an ID. Just a minute.
Yeah, sure.
Excuse me. We had this. No one managed to get to the bottom of this actually, but for some reason, like the achievement ID is like randomly incremented by like 10 million or something, or 1 million.
Huh.
Just I've seen this in Microsoft SQL Server before, right? When you fail over from one node to another, for some reason, like I don't know what you call them, like auto increment fields, get like nudged up. But yeah, the data.
The same thing does happen in Postgres too,
Oh,
occasionally.
okay. So it might be, but then like I'm not aware that the same thing happened with like project IDs or merge request IDs or group or anything else. It was just achievements for some reason. Hey ho. I've popped it in the Zoom, the ID.
I
So
think I've also seen it with background migrations.
that they've caused that, or that they've
Their sequence also got high.
right.
Okay, so now for every issue. Oop, nope.
I would say if you delete that, let Duo. I think it's actually going to suggest. Give it a second and see what it. Because I saw earlier it came up. Yeah, that's. I would go with each something along those sorts of lines. And it's saying the author is issue assignees nodes first.
See, is that accurate? It would be author. So we're digging into issues nodes, which means it should be for each issue. So issue assignees nodes first. This would be the first assignee on each issue.
Yeah.
So then awarding achievement to author.username. Yep.
So yeah, I guess that's good for the message, right? And then we actually want to award it,
which is award achievement.
Bingo.
And that we need to pass in author. Yep.
I think it was just ID, right?
Just
yes,
ID.
it's just ID. Yep.
And we should make sure to check the dry run variable for this call before we make it.
Can you just check the method itself? Because the method itself might check. I can't remember now. Yeah, so if it's dry run, it will just print.
Okay, it's already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We can probably get rid of the revoke achievement method while we're down here, I guess. I don't think we're going to be doing any revoking. Don't think we care about current achievements.
Nor do we care about determining the correct
don't care whether it's a team member or whether it should be ignored. I don't think. We're not expecting any bots to be getting trees. We're getting there. We're getting there.
This needs to be the new whatever I called this. All right. So award the achievement and then add label to issue. This is a REST call, and we don't have any helper methods for this, right?
So we
Uh,
can require GitLab at the top.
do we want GitLab API?
It's just called GitLab, actually, the gem that's the API. Now, what are we going to do? We probably want to add a note or a comment. I'm just going to have a quick look because I think I've got the project open here. Community. Have we got any? Oh, we've got a label up just to see how that. Do you know, I actually opted to just use a HTTP request. I didn't even use the GitLab gem when I did it because I think I just felt that it was a bit overkill, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Let me just
Is
have a look.
there an environment variable here then that has
Yeah,
the
if you
token
look
in it?
at the MR link to labeler, this, so we're already requiring the HTTP party, which is, I guess, what we're using.
Sure.
We probably want to, there was a definition somewhere near the top for the API URL, I think. REST API URL on line 24, and yeah, GitLab API token, I guess, as well on line 25.
Okay. What is the @ symbol here for the variable we're setting?
It's
So that-
basically an instance variable of the class.
Got it. Okay. So
Another
we would need
idea
that
that
included here then.
And
another idea that
definitionalize is the constructor. I don't know if that was obvious or not. But
Yeah, it was pretty clear.
fair.
Yeah.
yeah, one thing that I sometimes do if I only have GraphQL set up, I just post a comment with the /label quick action.
To be fair, I was intending, yeah, I think I was probably going to use a comment rather than using the actual API call to add a label. If you think doing it using GraphQL is as easy as doing it using the REST API, then I'm open to either, to be honest.
Is there a mutation for updating the issue via GraphQL? Let me swap back over to my browser.
Yes, let me search what I used.
Just gonna throw some
Create
notepad
node.
here.
It's simply create node,
Nice.
and it gets a body and a notable ID.
So it'll be a mutation rather than a query.
Oh, right. Good call.
Yes.
And create note. There it is. And we need
So again, it's an object.
that right?
Yeah.
Yes, you do input and then open an object, and the fields you see in the documentation are here.
Yeah.
And what we need is the notable ID, which is simply the issue
The
ID.
issue ID.
So
Yeah, that's the global
I
ID.
retract my previous statement about only needing the project ID and the issue IID. We will actually need the issue global ID.
That's
yeah, and
easy
the body.
enough to fix. We actually have the issue
absolutely.
global ID in there already.
We do, yeah.
And then the body would just be the label.
Absolutely.
Tree. Now I
With
have to
the
remember
funny
what we named
tilde
it
as
again.
well.
Tree. Oh, yes, good call.
Yeah, I think it also works with that, but I always do
maybe.
it myself with.
Does it really?
I think. Well, let me try it on one of my internal projects here real quick.
I don't think it does. Because I made that mistake multiple times.
I know that assigning users works without the @ symbol.
Oh, nice, nice.
Because I had my internal webhook bot assigned users without using that for a while before I realized that I probably should
Yeah,
have it.
it works without the
Yeah,
tool. I just tested it on one of
Oh.
my projects.
yeah, I did too, and it does
But
work
it
without it.
doesn't. Yeah, but it doesn't give you the autocomplete if you
Right.
do it without.
Yeah,
Then you have to know the name.
Even if you put multiple labels?
Oh, well, let's try it with multiple and see.
Every day is a
That
school
works
day.
fine.
Okay, then I must have been typing something else.
And just for completeness, the unlabel command also works without them.
Must have selection of subfields. What did you mean?
Oh yeah, you have to query some stuff back.
Oh, of course.
Errors is probably about all you really care about.
Yeah, because there won't be a node if it only contains quick actions.
Right. Okay.
You should have my issue ID if you want to try it out.
Sure. Let's see.
I saw my username down there somewhere.
We'll do it to Lee's.
Okay.
That's good. I can't quite think when I've
So
been
let's see
awarded
here.
something. Yeah.
Oh, it might not actually have been yours and just wound up assigned to you. But issue 398. Just so we've got it up.
Yep, it was also a team member that reassigned the issue to Lee
Oh, okay.
after they responded.
Errors. Commands only added label. Command names label.
What?
Did it actually do
it
something?
worked. Yes,
Okay.
the label got applied.
Okay.
So it's like
Yeah,
a
but-
warning rather than an error almost. to
Yeah, it's
say.
probably like a validation error that there is no content to actually persist or so.
Should we actually leave a comment just to prevent those errors? Or
Comments send notification mails, so adding only a label does not. So I would probably say no,
okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
because they already get an email when they get awarded the
Oh, sure.
achievement.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then we would send double emails, one for
Yeah.
the achievement and one for the comment saying you got an achievement.
Yeah, that would
Nobody
be.
checks their emails, all right?
Mine's all filtered.
That's actually how I keep up with all the issues and MRs on GitLab.
You don't use to-dos?
I use
Yeah.
both.
Yeah,
Nice.
same.
Email to-dos for getting what I need to do, and the email notifications to stay up to date with things that I'm interested in.
Is that? No, I grabbed the wrong. It's not copied appropriately. Oh, I copied it and then, yeah. Okay. I'm being stupid. Bu- 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 bu-
Uh,
Do I need to give a type to issue GID?
So just to be picky, and I think Marco was about to say that, so we tend to use snake case for arguments and variables and whatnot. In that's Kebabke. Thank you.
Yeah, and now the
It
method
should
name.
be yes. Okay.
Yeah. So you're gonna start writing Ruby tomorrow?
Nope.
Why not?
I like my Go. Thank you.
To be
Nah,
honest, like
I'm on the opposite side. I like Ruby more than Go.
we've put you through this, so I feel like we can find. I wouldn't even mind writing a similar sort of script if that makes sense. I'm sure we can find something else that we need to do using Golang, because I think Marco's the same, that it's on our kind of personal development plans essentially to do a little bit more than, although maybe a better use case would be to contribute to basically close an issue in the Terraform provider for you, Patrick. I don't know how many issues you have in your backlog.
Lots. I think we've got like 400 plus or something.
Well, it's not as bad as the main GitLab project.
Oh, wow. 50,000, yeah.
Fair comparison.
Oh, you have a quite small number with 50,000. I think we have to reach the 70,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
I already have a new plan that I have to probably ask for some help at a later time, Patrick, with the Terraform provider. You can
sure.
probably guess what.
Probably. That's okay. It's the next release is going to be pretty hectic for us because it's 17.0, so we have to do all of those API breaking changes, and GitLab have to be reflected in the Terraform provider. Because if we miss reflecting them in 17.0, we don't get another chance until 18.0.
So does that involve, though, you having to contribute a lot of stuff to the upstream Go GitLab package, or?
I usually contribute those as they come through. I miss a couple of them sometimes. But I think I've got everything contributed to Go GitLab already.
But how because if we're going to do a whole bunch of breaking changes, would we already have introduced the new and change?
Yeah.
So we've left the old stuff, but we've added the new stuff already. Gotcha. Okay, cool.
So for example, the Sev2 from yesterday was actually related to the Terraform provider. So the Sev2 that popped up yesterday was that emails disabled didn't work on groups anymore. And that's because partway through 16.0, it was swapped to emails enabled instead of emails disabled.
Right.
And so we only supported emails disabled on the Terraform provider because removing it and replacing it with emails enabled is a breaking change for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the large GitLab customers was provisioning all of their groups through Terraform. And so they raised an issue on the Terraform provider and basically said, we can't provision any of our groups anymore because emails disabled is broken.
Right. Okay.
Good.
So good. Yeah, it was kind of, I felt a little silly about it because they chimed in and they're like, hey, any update here? And my response was sort of an offhanded, like, yeah, it's scheduled for 17.0, but remember, it's an open source project. You can contribute what you want. And it turns out it was a huge GitLab customer.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I mean, it depends how I don't know what you want to call it, like how comically you worded it, if you know what I mean. But ultimately, that's our approach. That is our approach.
Right.
That's certainly anytime anyone I'm conversing with on an issue, even our bot, like, yeah, people don't love it, but it sort of says that if you can help us triage the issue, you're more likely to get people looking at the issue. If you can contribute a solution, resolution, whatever you want to call it, then we'll love you forever. So, and a lot of them want to do it. It's just sort of making them realize that they can do it and that there's support there if they do want to do it, sort of thing, which is something that I think, you know, like our team more and more is sort of pushing towards.
So yeah, but that was from us. So
So-
yeah, 17-0 is going to be fun. I think
So
I've
have they
got
got to
most
wait
of
for
them.
17-0, or have they managed to twist someone's arm, Timo or someone to?
Their customer service advocate twisted somebody on the environment project's arm, and they fixed the issue with emails disabled. So, which, to be fair, that's the
And
right
was it to add
fix.
the two, so you've got both options, or
We only support emails disabled still on the provider.
Okay.
I actually just unblocked that this morning. So I'll probably add emails enabled to the provider here shortly, so we support both of them. Just so that some people have like one release to update their config before we rug pull the old one from them. But
would you ever do something where you almost like, because you could basically keep both, right? But you could
Yeah.
translate
yeah,
one to the other essentially.
that's what I'll probably implement next week. So I'll implement like, because the trick is when you support something, like there's a difference between what you send in on the API request and what you read out from the API request, because we actually don't use the response from the API to populate the object. We do a read after write operation. So we have to basically say, okay, depending on which comes back on the read operation, we have to then store it in both values. So as long
Okay.
as you can do that, you can support both of them. And there's a bunch of places where we do. So,
Cool.
yeah. But I think
Right,
I've got it
where-
down. I think I only have like two issues in my backlog for 17-0 at this point. So, but a fun story for 16.0, we removed the managed licensed resource because it had been deprecated from GitLab. The managed license resource was my first ever commit to the Terraform provider. So I got to remove my own first commit from the Terraform provider.
Nice.
All right. So after we've awarded the achievement, let's see here. How do we do error handling here? So if we get an error here, we want to catch that error and jump to the next issue in the loop here because we don't want to add the issue label. So how would I handle that?
So award achievement?
Because if award achievement errors, if we fail to award the achievement to the author, we don't want to add the label to the issue.
Do you want to delete like from line 41 down a fair bit, just so that we
Yeah.
can almost squidge it up a bit, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, where's the award achievement method quickly? If we go down.
Right.
So award
here.
achievement. So it executes it and puts the response.
Oh, but we can't check the errors because the errors are going to have something regardless.
For the
Not for
add
awarding.
label, I'm not.
Yeah, not
I'm
for
not sure.
awarding the achievement.
Oh, not for awarding achievement. Good call.
So can we just have a look in execute GraphQL though? Is there anything, and that might execute GraphQL might be in the lib.
Yeah, I can't click into it, so it's got to be here somewhere. GraphQL helper.
You should enable SolarGraph.
I haven't even got that set up, to be fair. So yeah, so we're not actually doing anything. We're just returning JSON pass, and then we're doing a puts with it. So why don't we add a to do for some error handling? For the time being, we'll do some sort of bad assumptions that the achievement is successfully awarded and the label is successfully added.
Instead of putting the response, we could also store it in a variable and check if it has errors
Yeah, I think that makes sense doing something like that.
So if we have that or that assumption, then the only thing that we need to do is call this with
Yeah,
our ID and our Yep, thanks, Duo.
It is
Very,
pretty
very
impressive.
useful.
That's how most of the code for my first Go contribution to the Terraform provider was created.
Awesome.
I added like the key to an object and it did the rest.
Yeah,
Nice.
there's I've kind of figured out a lot of good label prompts for having it auto generate like schema
Cool.
and that kind of stuff. So
I imagine that Golang is one of the more popular and well trained languages, right?
yeah,
I mean, to be fair, Ruby probably is as well, but
both Go and Ruby are honestly even better than Java. The only language that I've really struggled with is shell scripting.
Oh,
And to be fair, that makes a lot of sense because trying to read shell scripting is horrific.
I
So
must admit, I don't know I've ever seen it attempt to. I don't know if that's because of file extensions or projects or what it is, but I don't think I've ever seen it even attempt to help me autocomplete or whatever you want to call it with a shell script before. Um, okay, so we're grabbing the issues, we're digging, we're saying
is
how many
issue
we've
dot
found.
ID correct or is it let's see here, we're digging into issue nodes,
I think
ID.
so.
Yes. Yep,
Yeah,
that's
I-
correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm confused why it's orange and author is blue, but
because each
um,
is an argument from the each author is a local variable.
oh, fair enough, fair enough.
Users,
So
that's
we don't
redundant.
need users. Can you just for the sake of making this run a bit quicker, etc., in the issues arguments in the GraphQL query, can you just say first, I don't know, first three, maybe?
First however many.
Yeah, first three, like just so that because what I'd like to do if we can in a minute, I don't know if we'll get away with it or if we'll need a token of some sort, but I'd love to be able to run this and just have it run the GraphQL query, get back 3 records, loop through them, print to the screen. I want to award this person, this person, and this person, and I'm going to vanish in a minute.
Simplest ideas. Oh, yeah, okay, we can. Yeah,
Are you thinking of doing a take 3 in Ruby instead, or?
that was what I think, but I think using first 3 should also work on the GraphQL layer.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just tested it in graphical on the side. So
Nice.
Yeah, okay.
I was doing that just to make sure I had the syntax right. Okay. I think we'll need a token somewhere.
What I think we'll
We
need
will
to
only
see.
need it for labeling and awarding, not for
And if we're
getting.
dry run, so is dry run, is that an at dry run or is it a constant or what?
It's
It's
a
constant.
It's an environment variable,
but it sets it by
it's
default to
defaults to
1,
true.
which is great.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, we do need a token because all the issues are confidential.
I was gonna say I think
okay.
otherwise we'll get nothing.
of course.
Yeah.
Have you got 1Password on your machine or anything like that?
I do not, but I can set it into environment and clear the environment, and I'll just create like a 1-day long access token or something.
Yeah, if you like pause your screen sharing,
Yeah,
set the environment
100%.
variable.
I just need to see
something like that.
which variable to set it to.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Is
I'll just
in the GraphQL helper, I assume.
disappear for a couple of seconds.
CI API GraphQL URL, which we need because there is no. And this should be Does anyone know the GraphQL API off the top of their head?
It's /API/GraphQL. Obviously with the domain in front.
Like
GitLab-
that?
GitLab.com.
Yeah,
Oh,
looks good.
GitLab.com.
Oh, oh yeah. Yeah, it should be. We are not addressing a GitLab Docker container or something like that.
Right. Okay. Let me stop my share here for a moment. Zoom controls, where did you go? Oh, there they are. Just hidden behind expires tomorrow. Just API access. That can't be right. It has an underbar at the end of it? Okay. Okay. And then let's see here. Now this is in terminal scope, so we'll have to run it from the terminal. So do you guys know what the
Yeah, so I
command is?
tend to use so first of all, if you run just bundle on its own,
Okay. Do I need to be in bin or at the root?
I think probably the root, to be honest.
Okay.
And now if you do bundle space exec,
And save 3 achievements.
yeah, because it looks like you
Oh,
have
tree achievements.
no, Mark, I was just saying it looks like you've got changes that are unsaved in the
Yeah,
in the
usually
Ruby.
it saves the file. Yeah, not commit, but just save. It shows as unsaved in your editor.
Oh, in the editor?
Yeah. That's it, beautiful. So yeah, then bundle exec, and then copy relative path essentially, and paste it in there.
As such?
Yes.
Yeah, watch it explode. Okay,
Was
then.
anticlimactic?
Okay. Is it because we're calling .execute? Did we create an execute method? What's the? If you scroll right to the bottom of the file, you'll see
There was an execute method there.
So we're calling treeachievements.new.execute, and what is execute doing?
Oh.
Some complete bananas. So should we just call the method that
Yeah.
we've been using instead?
Which
I'm
is-
surprised that it didn't throw any errors.
Yeah, so am I, to be honest.
So we should just call recent closed tree issues.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Where? I don't know.
We'll rename that here in a moment.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's go ahead and actually rename that now. So otherwise that's going to bother me.
You see, bundle, you only have to run once. Now you've run it. It's kind of installed the libraries and the gems and stuff. So
Gotcha.
now you can just do this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it maps kind of to the go get command or something like that.
Sure.
I'm not sure.
I
if
just wasn't
that's-
sure if I needed to rerun it to recompile tree achievement, but
No. Ruby
Okay.
is not compiled, so you don't
Okay.
need.
that's
You try
Still
removing
did
the
nothing.
./ prefix, like, and just do bin /
oh, that's gonna really trigger my neuroses if that works. Oh my god.
And that's why it didn't throw an error before.
So
Yeah,
I think what's
because
happening, just if it's not obvious or whatever, what you could do on line 115, you could do I'm not sure which way around to do it now. Puts $program name and then puts __ file, if you know what I mean. So
Oh. Oh.
So do this to what then?
and then another line below puts, and then but basically this if statement was obviously evaluating false.
Oh yeah.
So it's just understanding what program name
Got it.
contained and what file contains, and I guess one of them wasn't quite right. So
Got
if
it.
you just copy the file bit from the expression and
Like that.
Yeah, without
without
the
the
dollar sign.
Without the
yeah.
dollar sign. Just for
And then
kicks
maybe
and
run it with
giggles
your
with the
original
dollar,
sign.
yeah.
And just to like, because you got my curiosity. Yeah.
Oh.
Uh,
Oh, but yet when you do it, so if you then do it with the without the dot slash, it obviously passes the actual full path, I guess. Oh no. I mean, that's
What? What? All right. Okay.
I think
Um,
that got completely
it-
ruined your wants to understand Ruby.
That's right. No
Wrong.
more Ruby. Ruby and I are not
Can I
friends
just
anymore.
can I just check something?
Sure.
The label seems to have been added. We haven't got the dry run protection in
Oh.
the mutation to add the label. I'm just going to remove that label quickly from all the
Sure.
issues, just to undo.
Good thing that we limited only to the first three.
Yeah.
But wasn't that protection in execute GraphQL?
No, it was in at label to issue
Oh,
in award
award
achievement. Yeah. So we need this here or in.
Let's see here.
There you go.
And
Almost.
We could also check for if dry run is equal to 1 and then return. Then we don't need to change too much of the code below.
I tried to be more, I don't know what the word is. So like you can put false or you can put 700 different things in and
we could also check not 0.
We just err on the side of caution, essentially.
Yeah, so.
And now you're gonna learn another new trick from Ruby. You can do return if dry run all on the same line.
like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That being said, what you can see is I would copy and paste.
Or we could also use if return unless dry run is equal to 0.
Nope, I like this. It's more readable.
So the only thing I would say is obviously if you have a look what I've done in the award achievement method, is if dry run
prints it out.
And it's nice to see what the script should be doing if that makes sense. I mean, so.
And don't forget the return.
So you want else? Yeah, else return, I guess. Oh no, wait, yeah, no, I think you're. No, that
if dry run is not equal to 0, this means that dry run is
no, that's right. Sorry.
Yep. And then we already have that protection and award achievement. We don't need it up here. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, I like my comments to be consistent. All right, let me try this again and then make sure that the issues don't get labels.
And you'll find that the GitLab code base basically has no comments.
Yeah, but I think for the right reasons, if that makes sense. So I like the we're quite good at breaking methods down into like small chunks and naming the methods in such a way that it's quite verbose. The time that we do tend to use comments is when we say we're doing this because of like this bug, refer to this issue, or that's the time that I tend to find we do use comments, and I think they're helpful. But for the most of the rest of the part of it, we'll use small enough chunks of code and methods that are named quite verbosely that kind of make sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh boy. It's 11.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to disappear in a second. Is there anything else particular that I feel like we've got this into a really nice stack? Oh, I know, Patrick, you'll feel hopefully good about this. Why don't you modify the Terraform config to schedule this to run?
Oh boy. So you've got module scheduler, description, cron, pipeline variables. Sure.
And now he's gonna find some.
I'm not even.
Oh,
gonna...
I'm sure there's plenty of opportunity for.
Yeah, let's see here. Source module scheduler. When do you want to schedule it?
We do the team member achievements every day, the contributor achievements twice daily. Do you think two to 4 times a day? What do you think?
Oh, even less, maybe.
I mean, I think probably once daily. A day is fine.
Yeah. Okay. I'm cool with that.
Once a day should be fine.
Let's do it at a different time. I know, like, it doesn't really matter. We're not running that much, but I like sort of, exactly, putting a bit of a because we've now got no look back because we're just doing all unlabeled ones. I think this is fine, right?
Do we need a different token?
I think team member achievements token should work because it's on the same group, but maybe.
Would you want to use the contributor achievements? I don't know if they're named something different.
Yeah, I think contributor achievements sounds good because same, right?
And now
and then we need dry run equals 0.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct. And we'll need to come up. Sorry, Nicholas.
Yeah, and we need the update to the actual pipeline, so you can accept the suggestion with the new variable that we just had, because we are going to add this to the rules of the job we are going to add.
So in that Terraform file, it was suggesting you set a new variable, something like tree achievements equals 1 or something.
Yes.
There you go. I do love Duo.
And then in the pipeline, we have a new job that runs it, I assume, that has a rules for tree achievement.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You can copy both of the community MR and the dry run job above.
Okay, so you do both of them. Got it.
Yeah, one of them is for merge requests that change the file, and
whether you like my pattern or not.
Am I messing up your pattern?
No. You're following it perfectly, but I'm sure there's a lot of opportunity here to be like, we could have had a base job and then extended it and done some more beautiful.
Yeah, I would have probably extended the dry run job from the main job and add the variables and override the rules.
So let's see here.
Well,
so do you always run the dry run then?
If you check the rules, it's only in merge requests that change a specific file.
Yeah. Okay.
So
this
we need to update this. Yes.
I'm sorry to go, but I have to go now.
No, not at all. Thanks for joining us, Mark. Have a great weekend and catch you on Tuesday, if not before.
Yeah, you all as well. Have a great weekend, and it was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking with me.
Bye-bye, everyone.
All right, like that, right?
Yes, that looks good.
Achievements 1, bundle exec bin tree achievements. Um,
Oh,
Oh,
that
you
does
need
not
in
look
the
good.
in the dry run. Yeah, and we don't need the
don't need a
date.
parameter.
And then we actually don't need that either.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah,
with
think
this setup, I
so.
would have absolutely used extended the dry run from the.
Well,
the
we'll
other one.
look forward to your MR next week.
Mm, yeah,
That
maybe.
looks initially looks good. I guess like what I do know is that Rubu is going to get RC, and if nothing else, maybe we can just stub a spec quickly. If you look in the spec folder, you'll find I'm trying to think one that's empty that you can borrow. Yeah, just copy this because it's basically an empty stub.
Yeah, let's decrease the coverage again.
Well, we're just pushing something up, right? We won't merge
Yeah.
it. So.
As such,
Yeah, and it's up to you whether you want to create the branch, push it and raise the MR, or if you want to run
Yeah.
Rubu Cop to watch how much it baths all over your screen.
Yeah, I would suggest running it. Yeah, you should
So-
with bundle exec again. So bundle
Oh.
exec Rubocop. I think you have. Yeah, it's with a U, so not Robocop.
No, I
Oh,
don't believe.
Yeah, I'm
believe-
surprised as well.
There's no way we haven't violated any. Okay, let's go with it. Let's go with
okay.
it.
So it seems Patrick can write Rubocop compliant code on the first try.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. We are not going to accidentally commit the Git pod for you.
That being said, what does the Git pod like have an image and stuff? Is
It's just going to be using the default, and it knows that there's Ruby, so it runs bundle install, and you could add like bundle exec and stuff to it if you wanted.
okay.
But
We'll leave it
default
for now, but it could
workspace-
be something for us to think about in future if we wanted to
Yeah,
make it easier for people to use Gitpod. But
yeah. The default
Yeah.
workspace has Ruby installed normally, which is why I can do all the Ruby commands without having to
Cool.
install it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oops, that's not what I wanted to do.
And that's the first thing that made me realize you're running Windows, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
Well, I was
Yeah,
on the
same
dark
here.
side until a few years ago.
Well, this is
Yeah.
my work computer. So my home computer runs Linux, and then I think here in the next couple months we're swapping everybody over to Mac on the work side too. We've had enough stuff that ran only on x86 still that swapping over to the ARM chips on Mac was a nightmare. That's part of why we migrated everybody to Gitpod for development, because then we can still have x86 development environments running on M1 Macs. So,
Nice.
or M2, I guess, at this point. So,
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm also on the Windows world, but it's running since 2019, I think, and it just works since then. So
yeah,
Good.
our security department is not best pleased because, of course, with Windows, you can do all sorts of stuff with like kernel level security protections that you can't do on Macs. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I must admit that it's interesting because surprise, surprise, I'm sure you're all in the same boat, but like for the family, I'm sort of the procurement manager, let's call me. So dad needed a new laptop and he had a budget of I guess it'd be like $600-700 or something. And I was like, should I try and convert him to Mac? That's a bit of a stretch for a Mac, but maybe an Air or something. And I was like, no, let's keep it on Windows. I can get him more value for money for the time being, but maybe next time.
at that level of budget, Chromebook might actually be the way to go. But
So, yeah, I've historically, so I used to buy a lot of secondhand HP. They were Pro books and Elite books and that kind of thing a while back. And I also am quite a big fan of Dell's. I don't know if they're Inspiron or Inspiron or whatever it is. Again, like I think I managed to get like a 13th generation. I don't know what they're called, like the Intel chips with like 16 gig of RAM and a terabyte SSD, and it's pretty good. Like it amazes me what you can get for that, to be honest.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty insane these days that you can get for pretty cheap. So,
Absolutely.
and then you've got this thing that my work provides me with, which is I think it's a 16 core with 64 gigabytes of memory,
Wow.
and some of the engineers still manage to run them dry. So
Yeah, I must admit though, I did that. Before I got my MacBook, I upgraded. I think it was like a Lenovo X1 or ThinkPad or whatever you call it, and it, serious amount of RAM and
my background off here.
but the problem was, I'm expecting like 800 of these laptops like stacked up in the background. So, but I think I installed Linux on it, and at the time it had P cores and E cores, and I don't know that Linux even supported that, so the performance was really bad. Yeah, it's in a drawer somewhere now, but
yeah, there are no backgrounds, so you can say it's a ThinkPad for me as well.
nice.
So
Do they call it
ThinkPad.
Carbon something or other? Is it one of those?
The Carbon are like their Ultrabook line, the X1 Carbon line. So you got it right with X1 because like our analysts, so we have engineer laptops and then analyst laptops. Our analysts use X1 Carbons.
Okay, gotcha.
But I think these are P series, which is like their workstation replacement series. Yeah, P15 is this one. But this one is, I think this one's 3 or 4 years old at this point. So I'm due for a replacement. I've seen the new ones going out already, but usually I don't go out. I don't usually get replacements with the developers. I get replacements with the .next line. So I should be probably being updated to a Mac here pretty soon.
Cool.
So which is fine because this thing sounds like a jet engine when it starts up.
Yeah, it's nice that the M1, like it's very rare that the fan even kicks in. But I have found myself like on the Apple website so many times looking at M3s and being like, I don't need one. Why am I looking at this? But I need one. Yeah. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for doing the hard work, Patrick. Ping us on the MR and let us know if you want to sort of keep iterating or if you want to just hand it over or whatever, and we'll go from there.
You're missing one argument that you probably want on the pipeline schedule in the future, which is I think 1 or 2 versions ago we added an attribute called take ownership, which will make Terraform so if you accidentally manage or change a variable by taking ownership to it through the UI, Terraform will retake ownership before it makes the changes.
Could you add that into the module?
Yeah, sure.
That would be really helpful because I have done that once or twice before, and I think I ended up just deleting the job so that it would
Yeah.
deleting the schedule so that it recreated it. I
Yep.
still think that's a bug though, mind you, nothing to do with Terraform, but in the GitLab UI, the fact that you can take ownership of the job and then edit it, but you can't just look at it and edit it or even view it. It makes no sense, right?
Yeah, I
It's
think
a
I've
little
seen an
wonky.
issue to allow viewing the schedule, but I'm not sure. I don't know if variables are going to be included there or not.
But you think if you can click the take ownership button, then why should you have to take ownership in order to modify it? Essentially, just I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
It could be made as an argument that you effectively change the pipeline that is running as another user. So if you change variables, it could run different jobs.
Let's look at it this way. You can edit it. You can see everything, but when you hit save, then it obviously would have to then update the user that it runs as. So, just to view and whatnot, because, it makes no difference. Anyway, pleasure. Really nice. I'm gutted I missed out a couple of months ago when. What's that?
One fun fact about the taking ownership: you can edit schedules of others if you are an instance admin.
Yes.
but that's only helpful on self-hosted instances.
Oh, wait a
So
minute.
you don't need to take ownership if you're an instance administrator.
Okay.
Then you can edit them from any user.
That is interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it also doesn't change the ownership when you save.
Well, I learned something new today. Well, lots of new things actually. But thanks, Jack. Go on.
Yeah, I learned it the other way around. Because I was used to being an instance admin, and then I was confused why I couldn't edit the schedule.
I thought you were going to say that somebody modified one of your pipelines, like changed some environment variables or something, and you were like, "I'm sure I didn't do this."
All right. Well,
but it's been fun.
Gotta run. Yeah, thanks, guys.
No, really appreciate it. Have a great weekend, and see you all next week.
For sure.
Yeah, thanks.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.